Believe in yourself even when no one else does. Hello, my name is Jason Silverstein, and I'm going to tell you my story. I'm not going to tell you my story because I am just thrilled to let everyone in the world or whoever's watching this know all my struggles and everything I had to go through. Believe me, I would prefer to never tell anyone at all ever. But I have realized that in my path, in my journey to become better, to help with my own struggles, that it is good for me to help other people. And the way I found that I can best help other people is by going through all the struggles that I went through and how I have done my best to overcome them. Now, I am nowhere near where I need to be, where I can say I have it all figured out and here's what you do X, Y, and Z. But I have made some progress. And my hope is that by telling my story, someone can identify with it and help themselves, or make them feel better, or to be able to realize that they can believe in themselves and they are more capable than they think. And that's the purpose of me going over my story. For me, it starts off when I am in kindergarten. And my earliest memories of kindergarten are realizing that I wanted to become rich. It's an unusual thought probably for a 5-year-old, but that's what I thought. And because of that, I went on and I got straight E's, which is equivalent to straight A's, or the best grades that you could possibly get. I really worked hard. Throughout elementary school, I did pretty well in school. The fact that I had trouble talking to people, when someone would ask me a question, I would just say, they would ask me like, how am I doing? I just say like, fine. I didn't really have too many words. I couldn't really talk too much. The way I am now, it was a lot worse when I was a kid. But I still was able to go on and get pretty good grades in elementary school. And then in middle school, I started having more trouble. The fact that I'm not able to talk and not have too many friends or get along with the other kids was really starting to catch up to me. I think, elementary school, you can get away with stuff. But in middle school, it starts getting harder. So it was harder for me in middle school. Middle school, there were hard years, but I got through it. And during this time, I was sent to different therapists, but it didn't really help too much. And then in high school, I went on sort of the same trajectory. But I remember one thing very distinctly, and I want to point this out. There was a time where my grades were really starting to slip. The whole thing of not having many friends, not being happy, be kind of depressed, was just really too much for me, and my grades were slipping. And I remember my parents saying to me, Jason, it looks like you're not going to be able to go on to 4-year university. You are going to have to go to community college. And I thought, no way, this is going to ruin everything. I can't go to community college. No, that ruins my whole plans. I'll never become rich if I do that. Now, not that there's anything wrong with community college. It's perfectly fine if you went there or you're about to go there. But to me, at that time, to go to community college, that meant my world was over. So I pushed through. I got the grades. I got good enough grades to actually go on to the college of my choice, the University of Florida. And now a word from our sponsor, me. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead and subscribe. And if you like this video, smash the like button. Okay, commercial over. I'm now in college. As you can see by the shirt, Florida Gators. I'm in Gainesville, Florida. I'm away from my parents for the first time. I'm living with a roommate. And now it's crucial to make friends because I'm on my own. I had a friend for a little while and then that didn't quite work out. Then I was on my own. For a little while I tried joining a fraternity. It didn't really work out too well. I ended up actually having to go on antidepressants for a little while to make it through. And that worked. I spent some times being really alone and lonely. And what would get me through is the belief in myself that I could accomplish great things, that I could become rich to reach and that was my goal. And that would get me going. That would get me to study and get good grades. I could always fall back on that. No matter how bad things would get, I would fall back on my idea, my belief in myself that I could become rich. And because of that, I got through college. It certainly wasn't my happiest years as it is for a lot of people, but I had some fun sometimes. Now I graduated college and I'm back home, Sarasota. I become a realtor. And I develop an interest in real estate investing. I've always liked investing. I liked stock market investing very much, read a lot of books on it, and I really wanted to become a real estate investor. I thought it was a great way to make money. And then in 2003 or 4, I started. I bought my first investment house. And it worked out great. I sold it, made quite a bit of money, and I just went on from there. I was making a lot of money. I'd go to closings, walk away with $60,000, and it wasn't even that big a deal. After a while, I had enough money where I could have bought a really nice car like a Ferrari or a Lamborghini. I was rolling. And now I should be happy, right? I have money. This is what I always wanted. No, I wasn't happy. Still didn't have many friends. I didn't have a girlfriend. I was not happy. I was not happy at all. Maybe I was even less happy because now I had money and it didn't really mean anything. Of course, then I imagine what's missing from my life is having friends and a girlfriend. I need to focus on that. And with that attitude, I went on to lose everything. Everything. By the time 2009 came, I had very little money, very little motivation, wasn't working much. I was in a bad spot. And to make things worse, my parents were now worried about me. And I was sent to a psychologist. And this psychologist, after talking to me for 20 minutes, says, Jason has Asperger's syndrome. Do not expect much from him. He should go on Social Security benefits, collect money from the government. That's all he can really do. He said that to me and my parents. I didn't believe him. I didn't believe him. I still had belief in myself that I could do something. But I didn't start off doing anything quite yet. And then I was sent to a psychiatrist. And the psychiatrist was treating me like a paranoid schizophrenic, and he wanted to put me on a cocktail of drugs. Now, this is probably the reason why I'm doing this video in the first place. Here I am. I got one expert saying that I have Asperger's syndrome. Don't expect anything out of me. Another so-called expert psychiatrist basically saying I'm paranoid, schizophrenic, which makes no sense at all. What do I do? And I think at this point in time, a lot of people might just fall down. I can't blame them. How can you overcome all that? But I didn't. I believed in myself. I was the same person who was making a lot of money just a few years ago. I was the same person that was able to turn things around in high school and get good grades. I was the same person who was able to turn things around in college and graduate college. I knew I could do this. If no one else didn't believe me, I believed in myself. And I got motivated because I was really worried about what's going to happen to me. So I finally got into gear. There was somebody I knew for quite some time. I hooked up with him. We got into real estate and we started buying and selling houses with someone else. And I was making money again. I was doing pretty well. Where people were going out of business because there was a big recession, I was doing pretty well. And I'll tell you the rest of the story next. In 2011, I joined Toastmasters, which is an organization that helps people with public speaking. And the reason why I do is because somebody told me that if I could learn to speak in front of a group of people, I could more easily learn to speak in front of a small group of people or just one-on-one, which is what I definitely wanted to do. I joined Toastmasters, I'm there, and it's difficult for me. There's all these people that seem to be better at public speaking. When I first start, I have a lot of enthusiasm. I'm going every week, but it quickly dwindles down because I imagine that I do not have what it takes. I do not have self-belief. I do not believe that I can get better. I believe that there's something wrong with me, and that's why I'm not very good at public speaking. And no matter how much effort I put into it, it's not going to do any good. I just don't have it. And with that attitude, I did not get any better, and I wound up quitting. I was in there for 5 years because I don't like to quit, and I thought it was good for me. But along the way, I was just sort of going through the motions. The rest of my life wasn't any better. That little thing where I started making money with real estate during the recession, that sort of came to an end. I was on my own again, and I was just muddling my way through. Around 2014 or so, I am now seeing a psychiatrist for therapy, not drugs. And he quickly says to me, I have something called expressive language delay. And that's why I have trouble talking. That's why there are long pauses between my thoughts and ideas, because I have that. That actually made me feel better. Now I'm labeled, I have something. That's why I can't talk to people. And I tried a little bit to overcome that. I went to a speech therapist for a little while. I tried some things. But again, I did not put a lot of effort into it because I did not truly believe that I could get better. So what was the point? This just went on for a few more years. I'm muddling my way through. I'm doing different things. Nothing really great is going on. Then in early 2018, I just find myself at a point where I really have nothing to lose. I wouldn't say I hit rock bottom. I had done that before, but now I was just like, even if I start doing better, it'll just reverse itself. I had so many ups and downs. And I was truly at a point where I felt like I had nothing to lose. Then I realized, though, I have nothing to lose. I have nothing to be afraid of. I don't have to care what people think of me. What can they do? What can they do to me? It doesn't matter. I can do whatever I want. And I'm watching this inspirational video, and I get this idea that I am going to document my progress to speak in front of large audiences, so people could see that I went from a terrible public speaker on my way to being a really good public speaker who's able to speak in front of large audiences. And this would inspire a lot of people because they could see how bad I was when I first started, and I just didn't quit. I just kept on going until I made it. And people would think, if that guy could do it, I could do it. And it would give all these people belief. And I went ahead and I started. I did my first video. It was called How to Be a Successful Real Estate Investor. Hello, this is Jason Silverstein. This is part 10 in my series, How to Become a Successful Real Estate Investor. And that's on my playlist under real estate. You can go there. Or you can go to my other playlist labeled Documenting My Progress to Speaking for Large Audiences. You could see how I was when I first started. I was bad. I was a couple of years out of Toastmasters. I had this complete monotone, straight voice. I was yelling. It was bad, but I didn't care. I had nothing to lose. I figure this is going to help other people, and I might as well help other people because maybe that'll somehow help me. And that's what I did. I did that for a while, and actually I did rejoin Toastmasters, this time with a stronger purpose, put a lot of effort into it, and Toastmasters helped me a lot. I want to make sure I get that point in because I told you the first time it didn't work. Once I put in a lot of effort and work into it, it did work. Toastmasters does helps. And the point of all this story that I just told you, this video, is just the central message. To believe in yourself. If you think you can do it, a lot of times you can do it. Don't listen to the naysayers. Don't listen to the so-called experts that say you can't do something. I've had a lot of people in my life saying that I can't do anything. I remember when I first got to college, because my grades, I barely got in. I remember one of the administrators saying, you know, you have one of the lowest GPAs of any resident that's come in, and you might not make it. And he actually said that. And I remember interviewing with one real estate office and the manager saying, I don't think you have what it takes to make it in real estate. I mean, I've had so many people in my life just saying you can't do it, you don't have what it takes. And I'm sure no one on the face of the earth thought I could be a public speaker if you saw where I started from. Or maybe even now they're saying that, I don't know. But I've always believed in myself. I thought I can do it, and that's a lot of times what matters. And that's the purpose of this video. Believe in yourself, even if no one else does. Now, I would love to hear from you. If there's anything that you've had to overcome and you were able to overcome it, please put that in the comments section. If there's parts of this video that you particularly liked, I would like to hear about that. And I just like to hear a little feedback from those of you who are watching this video. And of course, if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe and smash the like button, and I'll see you in the next video.